Yo, what's up with it? What's up with it? What's up with it? We are definitely up in here, fellas. We are definitely up in here. The PayPal, the Cash App links are definitely in the chat area. The Rumble link and the Patreon link is definitely in the chat area as well, fellas. When you go over to Rumble, remember, download the Rumble app. Download the Rumble app and go and follow KC the Red Pill out for the bunker and go get that work. I'm steady dropping over there, fellas, constantly. So go get that work. Go join me on Patreon, fellas, and get that work just as well. Get on my most prominent tier, which is my $10 tier. And also, fellas, the 7 day free trial ends tomorrow. So the 7 day free trial ends tomorrow. So you got a chance to go over there and join before it's too late. I don't know when I'm gonna put it back up, but the 7 day free trial ends tomorrow on the Patreon. Go and join. You see the banner at the bottom, fellas. Get at me on the Gmail, realfargo12 at gmail.com. Get at me on X, formerly known as Twitter, at the Real Rails FA1. Like, share, and subscribe. Fair use. Enjoy the show. Hit the notification bell so you can be alerted on these videos every time I drop them, fellas. You got to be alerted, right? So hit the notification bell so you won't miss out. Hit the super chat. Hit the membership button. Once again, hit the super chat. Hit the membership button. Show donations. Show some love to the show. And we're going to keep it popping like we always do, fellas. Let's get this going. Now, let's get off into it. How you text is how you make her feel about joining your realm, about joining your circle, about joining your fold. What they say, your program, you know. Other than that, fellas, there's really no way of getting her aroused. You dig what I'm saying? So we're going to get off into this like we do. And once again, fellas, like, share, and subscribe, and hit the motherfucking super chat. Let's get it cracking. Let's talk about this. Yeah, fellas. I've done a consultation this morning around 10 o'clock, wherever you at, you know what I'm saying? I don't know where you at, but Central Time, 10 o'clock a.m. I did a consultation and shit with a guy. And I told him, let me go ahead and do a video and put something out here about this consultation, which he had no problem with. And I had explained to him, the way you text is how she feel, fellas. So when you come off texting a woman and you're not telling her what to do in so many words, you're not putting forth on what you want her to do, then you leave her room to actually do what she wants to do. And if a woman get left enough space, fellas, to take the opportunity to do what she wants to do, guess what? She's going to take the opportunity to do what she wants to do, which is what? Toy with you, play with you. See, when a woman peeps your energy and peeps your flow, she peeps your conversation on being indecisive and you're not assertive, you're not direct, because you simply are probably in fear and you want to be that guy that like display this nice energy to her. You know what I'm saying? This nice kind of nice guy energy because you feel like, that'll get you laid or that'll get you somewhere with her by just, what I'm saying, talking about nothing that got anything to do with sex and nothing that got anything to do with things you really want to do with her. And the things you really want to do with her is break her down, you know what I'm saying? Get her up out of them, like, oh girl, in this video here, get up out of them stretchies and shit and get it popping. These are things you guys be wanting to do with these women, but you are in fear to tell them these things. And when you not in the realm of telling these women what they want, what they really need to hear, despite what you think they want to hear, then once again, fellas, this gives them the space and opportunity to be standoffish, ghost, flake, do all the things and above, and not suit the things that you want, simply because you gave her that much space and you gave her that much room. Most men think that coming at a woman direct and telling her what you automatically want. And the guy told me, this little young guy told me, he was saying this shit in the consultation and shit, man, would that be seen as creepy? Would that be seen as her, like a turn off to the chick or whatever the case may be, if you coming off direct? How would she really see that and how would she really feel? And you got to think about what you're saying, fellas, and how you're putting your words in formation. How would she see it and how she would feel? If you care about how she see things, and if you care about how she feel about the things that you're saying or the shit that you're coming with, fellas, then you're gonna be scared to come with what you want to come with. You're gonna be inferior because you're thinking about what she's thinking about, and that leaves you on the outs of what you really want to do and how you really want to say things, and that gives her the foot to move the situationship in the way she want to move it. And typically, 10 times, I ain't gonna say fuck 9 times out of 10. I'm just gonna throw it out there. 10 times out of 10, if it was 11 times, you could squeeze the juice up out of a rock, fellas, and make it 11 times out of 10. I'm gonna be honest with you, fellas. Nigga, shit. She gonna lead it the way she wanna lead it, and it definitely ain't gonna go your way. Simply because she know that you are inferior and you're not coming off of what you want to come off. You're not giving her the free will and choice to reject you in so many words. Ooh, hit the like button. I know guys, damn, hold up. So why would I give her the choice and free will to reject me? Because, fellas, her rejecting you don't do nothing but give you more opportunity and space to holler at other women that's feeling you for you and what you're about. That's one. Two, her actually rejecting you, fellas, gives her an out of not dealing with a guy that she may not be ready to deal with, a guy that she may not be ready to work hard to actually meet his standards and meet his criteria. So that gives her out. And you don't want her to be in if she's not really, if she's not willing to meet your criteria and your requirements, fellas. So that's two. Three, what's also great about the rejection, fellas, is that it gives you some kind of immune system to be immune to the rejections and know that women have their rights and they have their what I'm saying, their opinions, and they have their free will, and shit, they got their choice to not want to talk to you, and that's okay. But you got to embrace that. And once you embrace that, fellas, that alone brings out the handsomeness, the attractiveness, the sexiness, the confidence, and everything that comes within that realm for you, fellas, going forward talking to other women. And everything starts on how you communicate. And we are in the world now, fellas, where we speaking with text. And if we were talking back then, I would have spoke on land. I would have talked about landline and telephones and shit. But right now, we not, we out of that realm. We in the realm of text, and that's how things are going. And typically, what I'm saying, you're not gonna really communicate with the chick on the dating app, right? You're gonna not communicate, call her number, she call you or whatever. You're gonna conversate through the text part, of the date night. You link up with a chick in the streets or wherever, out in the bar, at the club, or whatever the case may be. Typically, yeah, you may get some that's gonna call you and request you to call. I really want you to call, please. Can you call? I really like the text. I'll be working, and you got something like that. What I'm saying? They rather have the conversation, but that's kind of slim, at this time. Majority of the time you're gonna get them wanting to text, fellas, and how you text determines how she feels and how she want to fit your motherfucking rim and join you. That's real shit, fellas, and fuck with you like that. So you can't text a chick and leave out not linking up with her to make things happen. You can't text a bitch and leave that shit out. No, not in today's time. Hell no. No. Women love directness. Women love dominance and a man that's bold. A man that's not afraid and a man that's not scared to say what he got to say and get that shit off his chest. Women love that shit. Despite the things you hear, you may hear women saying, "No, what's wrong with getting to knowing a guy? If you want to make better lovers, you got to become better friends." I heard shit like that before. Like, what? Become better friends? If I want to make that, don't even make sense. The fuck? So when you get a woman saying things like that, fellas, you should automatically know she on some bullshit. She ain't trying to fuck with you like that. Next. Because that don't even make sense. But you getting them saying these things, fellas, and a lot of guys go for that shit, and they normalize that, which is a turn off to the woman. Because she's not going to tell you how to talk. She's not going to tell you how to pull her. She's not going to give you the memo on how to bring her in and what to say to, you know what I'm saying, make them panties drop, or what to say to make her join your rim and come on in and be like, I want to fuck with him. I'm G up to fuck with him, and I'm down for his leadership, and I want him to direct every which way it is. You know what I'm saying, that he want to go, and I'm willing to fucking follow. Fuck that. You know what I'm saying? Let's keep it all the way real, fellas. A lot of guys want that from women. But then again, yet and still, you listen to what they say on how they be wanting to get treated, and you try your best to suit that. You try your best to come up out of your character to treat her like she say she want to be treated. And then she turn around and show you something totally different. Now you confused, like a female. You don't know what the fuck to do. And it starts with how you move, fellas. Everything starts in your conversation. It'll never go no other way, fellas. It starts in your conversation. She peep your conversation, whether it's text, via phone, whatever the case may be. I don't give a fuck, it's the telegram. The bitch peep your motherfucking conversation, and she see that you're too passive and you're not very much blunt, then she's just gonna go her way. She's gonna lead it. She got no other choice but to lead it, and she's gonna lead it with dates. She's gonna lead it with all type of shit, fellas, that's out of the realm of sex. Trust me. Trust me. And if she do give you the sex, fellas, it's a pacifying moment. Trust me. I'm telling you what it is. Guys don't be want to hear this shit. Like, share, and subscribe, y'all. Hit the super chat, hit the membership button. Show love to the show. Hit that PayPal, hit that Cash App, hit the Patreon, and go over there and hit that Rumble just as well, fellas. You know what I'm saying? And guys, look, guys, I'm gonna give y'all something real small, real quick, on what to say. And then it's best to, when you, because a lot of guys be scared to tell these women, you know what I'm saying, and to be straight up with them and let them know, look, I want to get you over to the house and get it in, man. And you got some women that ask you, like, look, won't you be honest with me? Tell me the truth. Do you just want to hook up? You just want to get laid, or you just want to make things happen in a second? What you want? And a lot of guys, no, not just that. I really want to get to know you. And they think that if they say things that's total opposite of what they really want to do, it'll take them further with the bitch. Not even knowing that, be honest. Tell her what it is. I had a chick hit me with that the other day on Tinder. Talking about, be honest. You gonna really be honest? Because this is like something it's hard for guys to do. Do you really just want to get laid or get a hookup? I said, of course, baby. I like what I see. Yeah, let's make that happen. What's the game? What's the hold up? Of course. I said, look, check this out, man. Text me and let me know when you're free and when you're available to come through, and we're going to go ahead and make that happen. I'm going to go ahead and shoot you the address. And she ended up texting me. She said, look, I'm like 35 miles outside of you, but next week I'll be coming down, to get with my people, and boom, boom, boom. She's on the little outskirts of Kansas City. So I'm going to come back down and get with my people and shit, and we can make it, link up and shit. All right, cool. You got my number, holler at me. And just leave it at that. That's what it is. Have I had some like that? Of course I had women that actually came through and made it happen. Then I had some that didn't ever come through. I had some that took time that I had to figure out, like, damn, do I remember this bitch? You know what I'm saying? Straight up, fellas. And it's all about how you get at them. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of guys don't want to be straight blunt and say, look, I want you to come on over. I want to make it happen. I want to get it in. I want to get you out some clothes. Whatever you say. A lot of guys don't want to say that, right? So what you do, I'm gonna give you a little something, because I got some shit over on Patreon about this too. You know what I'm saying? What you do, you tell the chick, I'm feeling you in that way. You know what I'm saying? I believe I'm sexy attractive. As a matter of fact, I know I am, and I can't promise you that I won't keep my hands, my mouth and my tongue and things to myself. You come on through, you say shit like that, fellas. That's just a little tip for you. You say little shit like that, fellas, and you'll know where it stands and where it's at. And you'll know if you're going to go further with the situation, to go ahead and cut it off and let it go because the chick on some bullshit. Or, you say these kind of things, and then you'll know what it is. I'd have had chicks be, okay, I have no problem with that. Am I still invited? Can I? Yeah, come on through. And I have chicks be like, well, yeah, because I don't really want to be touchy and feely and all these things. Okay, then I know where that is. You know what I'm saying? You got my number. You know what I'm saying? You know what it is. Reach back out and holler at me when you ready to make it crack. Because that's where it stands. I don't never switch up. I don't never waver. I don't never bend the fold. I don't move. I don't move what they say the goalpost. I don't do none of that shit. I don't try to. No, I don't do none of that shit. This is what it is, and that's what it is. This is where I'm standing. I don't be like, okay, well, look, check this out. Let's go ahead and go have a drink, or let's, because you moving yourself from what you really want to do, and you already said what you want to do, so you got to stand on it, fellas. So the way you text is always, you know what I'm saying, the way she's gonna feel about joining your realm, fellas. This is what it is. You know what I'm saying? The way you communicate, the way you come off. There's no other way around it. You know, you can try, you can try. I'm telling you, you can try your best and try to. I'm telling you, you can try to do this shit in a whole nother light, and you gonna see what I'm saying. You're gonna be reaching back out. Damn, you ain't lying, man. You know, this bitch on some bullshit. It's like pulling teeth fucking with her, man. I can't even get her over. You know what I'm saying? She ain't trying to invite me over. I can't even make shit happen. Every time I hear from her or I reach out to her, she reach out to me. It's always like a date or something. We gotta go on a date, but shit ain't going on what it is because you ain't let her know what it is, fellas. And you want to save yourself a whole lot of time being direct, fellas, so they can get the hell away from you if they on some bullshit, you know? Because you would rather sit up and re-energize yourself and get out there and holler at more women, fellas, just than to waste your fucking time on one chick and it ain't going nowhere. You get what I'm saying? So don't be afraid to tell her what the hell it is and what you want, fellas. I'm telling you. And that shouldn't really go past a couple text messages between you guys. You know what I'm saying? And that should stop right there. And all that old long ass, the rest of the text you guys be doing throughout the day and shit, that's bullshit. You know, when you go, I'm going to be honest with you, fellas. I kind of put myself, and I never really break this time limit. I give myself like really like 1 minute to text a bitch and let her know what it is. Get her, like if she responding on time and we texting back and forth, getting that shit set up. This shit really take like up to probably 2 minutes, and that's it. Now when you going past 2 minutes, fellas, I'm sorry, you lost. I'm keeping it real because you don't need to go there 3, 4, 5 minutes. And now it depends on how long she's taking. I mean, how much time she's taking because she could be working, she could be doing other things to where it's not required for her to have that phone at her fingertips right then and there. But I really kind of go past. I don't go past like a couple minutes, fellas, and you know what I'm saying, in the communication realm. I really don't. I let her know what it is and she, hit me back, let me know what time it is and what we gonna do. Or if she ain't feeling it or what, and then I drop the shit off and keep pushing. There's no time wasted with it. You know what I'm saying? So you gotta learn that shit, fellas. Now we're gonna jump over here and do our thing this way. Like, share, and subscribe. Y'all hit the super chat, notification bell, so you can be alerted on these videos and shit. Hit the membership button, hit that Patreon, hit that PayPal. So we're gonna jump over here and speak on this. When it's over, fellas, it's over. The OJ story part 5. You dig? So we're gonna remove this and we're gonna get straight to it. When it's over, it's over. OJ tried his best, fellas. He tried. He tried for the sake of the kids, for the sake of the marriage, for the sake of his family, his wife's ex-wife family, and for the sake of his career or whatever. He tried to make it work. It just wouldn't work. You know what I'm saying? He tried to rekindle everything. He tried to resolve every situation. He tried to reunite certain things. This shit just won't work, which gonna lead up to the next and the final segment of this motherfucker, which is part 6, and that's gonna be did he actually do it or not? And we're gonna get off into that because it describes and details on how it went down. So right now we're gonna pay attention to what's really going on with OJ and how he tried to make it work and it just won't work, which led up to him like fuck it and probably blew a fuse and lost it all. Like, hey, fuck that. But we're gonna get over here and we're gonna check it out real quick. Let's get to it. There we go. Going up. Okay, let's get it popping.
Things fall apart. Later that same morning, I went by the office and told Kathy Randa all about Mother's Day weekend. We are done. I said. We are moving on. You sure about that? Positive. Kathy looked sort of relieved, then smiled a big smile and said, Guess who's coming to town tonight? Who? Paula? You're kidding me, I said. No, she said. She's in New York, on her way to Honolulu, but she's stopping in L.A. for the night. I'm supposed to pick her up at the airport. Wait a minute, I said. Let me pick her up. I don't know about that, trust me, I said. It's definitely over between me and Nicole. That evening, I showed up at the airport and waited for Paula by the baggage claim. I saw her before she saw me, and she looked as beautiful as ever. She also looked kind of stunned, to be honest. What are you doing here? She asked. Well, it's been a year, I said, and it's over. You're done? We're done. I drove her back to her place, and she was shaking her head the whole way, unable to believe that this was really happening. A year earlier, she'd warned me that she wasn't the type of girl who would wait around for me, and she hadn't waited around. But suddenly I was there, and she was there, and we both still wanted each other. We spent the night together, and the next day I took her to the airport. We were happy, like a pair of kids.
See, OJ had it set up to where in his mind he was like, the over and under situation. I get over the bitch, my ex bitch, my ex wife, or whatever the case may be, Nicole, by getting up under Paula. You know what I'm saying, making it happen. So he was so eager to go get her and share his excitement of actually ending their relationship and their fiasco, whatever boys, their ups and downs, and it's finally over. And he go hook up with Paula and want to make things happen with her, but at the same time, she's not feeling the way he's feeling because she's went on with her life and gone, and she sat there and seen how OJ allowed his ex-wife, and a lot of guys do this shit. You know what I'm saying? They'll try to move forward with a new chick, but still cling on to the baby mom and the ex-wife and shit. And the ex-wife be so manipulative. She allowed him to back up from his new chick and pull back from her, which allowed a new chick to push forward with someone else or push forward her life, and things just won't be the same. You know what I'm saying? But all this shit started with OJ being weak from the jump when he could have just dumped her ass Nicole off and kept pushing. Kept pushing.
Kids. I drove home wondering why I'd ever put her through such hell. I was also grateful. She was being incredibly understanding. When I reached her in Honolulu later that day, however, she sounded a little less happy. I'm still hurt, she said. I'm sorry, I said. I did what I had to do. If I hadn't made an effort to keep the family together, I would have wondered about it for the rest of my life. It was a long year, she said. It was long for me, too. I don't honestly know what I want from you, she said. All I know is that I want to take it real slow. I was game for anything, and I told her so. I wanted Paula back in my life, and I made it clear that I'd jump through hoops for her.
Damn. I was game for anything. I made it clear I would jump through hoops for her. I wanted her back in my life, possessing that needy, weak ass energy. And not understanding that women are like magnets when it comes to energy. They absorb your energy like a cactus absorb water, fellas. I'm telling you, when they see that you're needy and you're becoming that needy guy, you making her sex the only sex, and you pushing forward to her to be your woman and try to get this rebound thing going because you're trying to cover up this hurt and pain from the ex bitch you had, nigga, that'll make her ass dump you. I'm telling you, you moving too far. OJ moving ahead of himself, and look what happened. Or look what's happening.
On the other hand, to be completely honest, I wasn't sure we could make it work. Paula was looking to settle down and start making babies, and I was done with that part of my life. I figured we could have that conversation when she returned to Los Angeles, but it never happened. A few weeks later, Nicole and Ron Goldman would...
Don't be confused, fellas, thinking that okay, she was looking to settle down, have babies. Allegedly, remember this is what his story is in his book and what he's saying. So don't be confused thinking that if she's looking to settle down, have babies, that she's really into you and she's infatuated and she loves you and she cares about you that much. No, no, no. Don't think that, fellas. It's survival mode. No, this is a model. A high end model or whatever back then, centerfold model. Now they IG models and shit in these days. It's really the same shit. They just move from paperback books and newspapers and papers to digital and computers or whatever. It's the same shit. You know what I'm saying? And OJ's a retired NFL player with a hefty pension, Heisman Trophy winner, sportcaster, owner of several business, part-time owner of certain shit, high stake. I think he had high stake. Like I think he had a great I think he had like high ass stake or stocks or whatever into Hertz or whatever. He was doing pretty fair for himself, great for himself at that time. So shit, the bitch is in survival mode.
Dead, and I was being charged with the murders. But I'm getting ahead of myself again. A few days after Paula left for Honolulu, I was in New York on business, and I got a call from Gigi, my housekeeper. She was upset. She said Nicole had just been by the house and that she'd asked her to take care of the kids that weekend. What are you crying about? I asked. That's no reason to cry. Nicole got mad at me, Gigi said. What do you mean she got mad? What right does she have to get mad? You work for me, and you're off on weekends. If you want to babysit the kids, that's between you and Nicole. But she can't be coming by making demands. Yes, sir. That's what I tried to tell her. But she said I'd better be here when she came by to drop off the kids. That's crazy. She's got no right even coming by the house when I'm not there. Don't worry about a thing. I'll take care of it right away. I called Nicole the moment we got off the phone. I was pissed, but I kept it civilized. Gigi works for me, and she has the weekends off, I said. You can't be hassling her. You ran Michelle off. Please don't do the same with Gigi. Nicole didn't apologize, but she didn't come by the house that weekend either. 2 days later, however, when I was back, she stopped by to drop off the kids, and I thought I heard her having words with Cato. I looked out the window but couldn't see her, and I couldn't see Cato either. He was probably running for the hills. I went downstairs as the kids came through the front door, and Nicole was right behind them, walking in like she owned the place. I thought I told you to get rid of Cato, she barked. I don't want to talk about Cato, I said. Not now, not ever. I never want to see him again, she said. Nick, come on, back off. The guy told me he found a place, but it fell out. Bullshit. I ignored her. I took the kids out to the pool and we jumped into the water. Nicole watched us for a few minutes, scowling. I'm leaving, she said. I looked at her as if to say, so fucking what? Leave already. She got the message. She turned and left. I hung out with the kids and tried not to think about her, but it was hard. She was clearly deteriorating. Maybe she was upset because we were over. Maybe she was having a hard time facing the future. I don't know what the hell it was, but it wasn't good. I found myself thinking of that old cliche about divorce. If you've got kids, you're stuck with that person for the rest of your life. It was not a pleasant thought.
Fuck nah, nigga, nah. She, like I said, it goes back to the toying you like a yo-yo. She's seeing that you moving further away. She's not getting these the stalking energy from you. She's not getting the missed calls and the messages. Back then they was on voicemail messages. It wasn't texts and things like that. She wasn't getting your page, your beat pages and things. When they had pagers and things of that sort, she wasn't getting none of you. Allegedly, if these things are true, she wasn't getting none of you. And women do this shit, fellas. And that's why I say allegedly, and that's why I say if these things are true, because I've seen women, try to stop men from going along in their life, especially if these men are, getting over these women and they actually becoming, more involved with themselves and involved with society, others, and becoming more social. They're more open to leaving that bullshit behind and moving forward. And I've seen women come back in these guys' life and they allow these bitches back. These bitches come back in and ruin everything these dudes got going. You know what I'm saying? And it's not the woman's fault. She's only doing what she's set to do, and that's to come in and be a fucking woman. You just got to be a man. Put your fucking foot down and not allow this shit. And guess what? He would have had a relationship with Paula and whatever the case may be, and had other women and had his career and not be seen as this wife beater and a two-time murderer, double murderer and all these. He wouldn't be seen in none of these things. Only if he wouldn't allow this chick to come through and take advantage of him like this, simply because he was moving on when she the one who didn't want him no more. I don't get it. Dudes go through this shit.
After the kids got out of the pool, I called Kathy Randa. I told her I thought Nicole was getting worse and that I didn't want to be around her anymore. It wasn't good for me, I said, and it sure as hell wasn't good for the kids. I asked her to please review the schedule and to help me arrange all future pickups and drop-offs. You okay? Kathy asked me. Yeah, I said. I'm fine, and if we can get Nicole handled, I'll be better than fine. I went back to New York on business and returned a few days later, and the next morning, before I was even out of bed, the phone rang. It was Nicole. I'm sick, she said. I've got pneumonia. Could you come by and take the kids to school? I got dressed and hurried over. She looked like hell. I changed the bed linens and tucked her back into bed and took the kids to school. Then I stopped at Froman's.
Oh, this motherfucker came over and played this bitch's motherfucking caregiver. What the fuck? Huh? I'm sick. I got the flu. Can you come over and take the kids to school? Well, if I hold on, fuck no. Hold on. We went through a divorce. You got a place. I'm paying for that place. You got a nanny. You got your own nanny. I'm paying for that. That the motherfucker's job. The fuck? See, OJ allowed these things because he wanted to make it work. And when it's over, it's over. But he don't see it. The writing's already on the wall. He's just going off the things she's trying to do and the things she's saying to him, which keeping something alive, which makes him cling on to some kind of hope, like it's there, right? And she's just running game, but OJ never understood. You know, a lot of these old dudes back then, they didn't know this shit that you guys are getting now, the things that we know now, and how, you know, most guys have cracked the eggshell of how women are and shit, and how to actually, you know what I'm saying, utilize it to their advantage and teach others and, you know, give grade. I mean, because it's all beneficial, right? But they didn't know that then. You know? They thought that if I can pander for this bitch, I can go over and like change the sheets and the linen and, you know, Lysol, disinfect the house down and, you know, and be this bitch caregiver. And then the next day when the bitch is back feeling better, she's hating on my shit and bringing me down. Nah, fuck that shit. Crazy.
To Santa Monica Deli to pick up some chicken soup. I took it back to the house and sat with her, watching her eat it. I didn't understand why she was sick. This was mid-May. Who catches pneumonia in mid-May? I just knew this had to be connected to the drugs. You're not doing anything you're not supposed to be doing.
OJ instantly jumped into jealous mode. Instantly jumped in. The bitch could have just been sick. What you mean mid-May? That don't mean nothing. Motherfuckers is shitting and not washing their goddamn hands, and then a lot of, you know, I mean, that's why we got that CV shit, you know, back in 20, I don't want to say the name, but y'all get what I'm saying. Back in 2020, fellas, a lot of nasty motherfuckers is walking. I mean, I see the shit at the gyms. I see it everywhere. You can get sick like that in any time of the year. The weather don't mean nothing. But OJ just wanted to pick a situation so he can, you know what I'm saying, blame her and shame her and kick off some bullshit. OJ, he knew what the hell he was doing. He knew what was up. That's what I'm saying. He was more involved in this shit than her. And he write a book saying, I don't get it, man.
When are you? OJ, please. How many times have I told you? I don't want to talk about this. The weird part was she didn't deny it. She has always been a lousy liar, so she just avoided the topic. I wanted her to talk about it, though. So did her mother. So did anyone who cared about her. Hell, Cora Fishman had begged her to talk about it. We all wanted her to face this thing so she could begin to do something about it.
And if she was on drugs, motherfucker, she ain't willing to face no goddamn intervention from people that care. Motherfuckers don't give a fuck about you when you care. They give a fuck about the motherfuckers that don't care. I'm just keeping it real. The fuck?
I wish we had tried harder, she said. Excuse me? During the year we tried to reconcile. I know we could have done better. Now this was something I didn't want to talk about, so I said nothing. She set down her soup spoon and stared at me. She looked like all the hope had gone out of her. In the course of the previous year, while we were still working at reconciling, there were times when everything seemed to be going completely to hell. But Nicole never stopped hoping. Now that we weren't even trying anymore, however, there was nothing to be hopeful about. And that's what I saw in her eyes, a complete absence of hope. For the next few days, Nicole was pretty sick. I ended up shuttling the kids to and from school and to and from my house, and Kathy Randa pitched in. But mostly Nicole wanted me to take care of things. I went to the pharmacy to pick up her medicine, and I went back to Froman's for second and third helpings of chicken soup. And I helped her change the linens a couple more times. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to suggest that I was the perfect ex-husband. All I'm saying is that I was worried about her, and I wanted to help her find a way back. No matter what had gone wrong in our lives, and plenty of shit had gone wrong.
And you see why she was shitting on you and disrespecting you. You care. Care too much. You care so motherfucking much. You asking her about her fuck. You care. This dude cares so motherfucking much, fellas. He blamed her illness on partying, cheating, and drugging and all this other shit. What the fuck? And you don't think she peeps that energy? You don't think that she see that within you? You know? You're just this concerning, nice motherfucker. But then you turn around, allegedly you could be this abusive motherfucker. Then you can be this infidelity type of dude, you know, that's running around. I mean, you all over the place. You don't got no consistency on who you really are, and you want her to have that. Think about this shit, fellas. You are the man. You the leader. This is what the fuck.
She was still the mother of my kids. I was stuck with her. But for their sake, I wanted to be stuck with her. I've said it before and I'll say it again. Nicole was a great mother. Schoolwork, manners, appearance, she was all over those kids. The only thing I objected to was when she turned into the other Nicole, and that Nicole was still very much around, still lurking, ready to leap out and make more trouble. Meanwhile, Paula was back in town, and I was trying to keep that romance going. It was strange. Not all that long ago, I cheated on my girlfriend with my ex-wife. Now I was cheating again, in a manner of speaking. I was nursing my ex-wife back to health and trying to keep my girlfriend from finding out. I still think separating was a good thing, Nicole told me a couple days later. We were standing in her kitchen at the Bundy place, and I was ladling hot soup into a clean bowl. I just wish I'd made a little more progress in therapy. You don't think that therapy helped? It helped, I guess. But it didn't really change anything. I wanted to get stronger for us so that we could have a stronger relationship, but that didn't work out too well. Well, you know, that shit takes time. I already quit therapy, she said. I didn't think I was making enough progress. A few days later, this is in late May, less than a month before Nicole's death, I was having a party at my house with the kids and their classmates. It was a little fundraiser for the school, and this was the third consecutive year I'd played host. I had clowns and magicians and those bouncy things for little kids, and of course lots of good food for everyone. The day of the picnic, Cato was on his way out of the house to meet some friends, and he stopped by the party to say hello. I heard the kids giving him a hard time. They were repeating all the things they'd learned from Nicole, that he was a freeloader and a bum. And I went over and told them to cut it out. I wasn't mean about it, though. I realized they didn't know any better. Nicole had poisoned them with her anger. Tell you the truth, though, I was a little sick of Cato myself. I'd already told him to find a place of his own on more than one occasion, and he kept assuring me that he was trying. It's not like he was underfoot or...
Tell you the truth, I'm sick of Kato. Oh my, this bitch has corrupted OJ so much to where you went from defending Kato. Now you sick of him. You inheriting her feelings and how she feel about this dude. See, fellas, this is a form of weakness. And a lot of guys do this, fellas. It's no different from your cousin or your homeboy, you know what I'm saying, backing up from you and not fucking with you no more because your girl don't like you, because his girl don't like you, or whatever case may be. You know what I'm saying? His girl ain't feeling you because you got the game, you know, you schooling him on certain shit or whatever the case is. He go back pillow talking. She get in his head, you know what I'm saying, and turn him against you now. He's backing away from you simply because it's no different. And dudes do this shit. You know, you went from defending the guy, helping the guy, you know, from what I've heard outside of this book, allegedly, you know, he's paid rent to both of you guys. You know, when he stayed with her, he paid rent staying with you, and now you want him out because what you're doing is OJ slowly moving in the light of Nicole and what she wants instead of what he wants and how he see things. This is his house. This is his lifestyle. You're OJ, dog. The fuck? You know, that got to count for something, right? You the man in your world, right? They got to count for something. There's no way I'm allowed this bitch to come over and rain turf over my shit, territory. Nigga, please. The fuck?
Or anything, though, so I didn't give it much thought. But that was one of those things that made it hard for me to understand.
Like, share, and subscribe, y'all. Hit the super chat. Hit the membership button. Hit the PayPal. Hit the Cash App. Show love to the show. Hit that Patreon and Rumble.
And the depth of Nicole's rage. She saw him even less than I did, but the mention of his name could really set her off. About an hour after Cato left, Nicole showed up in the middle of the picnic. The first words out of her mouth were, "Where's Cato? I sure hope I don't see him." "He left," I said. I wondered what she was doing there. But since she had often co-hosted that little picnic with me, I wasn't going to ask her to leave. "You feeling better?" I asked. Instead of answering, she reached up and gave me a little kiss. Then she went around saying hello to the parents, most of whom she knew from school. She was acting very friendly and behaving like the hostess and even thanking people for coming. I thought that was pretty strange. Everyone knew we were no longer together. Everyone knew she didn't live there anymore. I tried not to think about it. I went inside and joined some of the dads who were watching the NBA playoffs. A few minutes later, Nicole came down and dropped onto the couch next to me and asked me to rub her feet. I rubbed her feet for a few minutes, mostly because I didn't want to get into anything. She was pale and still looked pretty sick. "You okay?" I asked.
This motherfucker turned into a foot masseuse. This motherfucker turned. Oh my god, you dudes you rub this bitch feet, nigga. After she trying to get you for your kids, your money, end your career, nigga. Put it out there that you allegedly put hands and feet on her. You know what I'm saying? You fucking around. You called her knocking off pipe in the living room. You just all type of shit you call her doing and she'd have done to end you, man. And you back catering and pandering to this bitch. What the fuck? Damn, man. OJ could have saved himself a whole lot, man. If he simply would have let her ass go when it was that time. And a lot of you guys can save yourself a whole lot, man. Let these women go, man, when it's that time. Once you see patterns change, you see the switch up, I need space and I want to work on me. I want to get myself back in shape and get your ass out of here. Goodbye. The fuck?
"Uh-huh," she said, "just tired." I stopped rubbing her feet and told her to go upstairs and lie down. I said I'd stop in later to check on her. She went, and I thought I'd gotten rid of her, but within a few minutes, Gigi, my housekeeper, came by to tell me that Nicole was asking for me. I went upstairs, frustrated, and found her lying on my bed. "What's up?" I asked. "Why is Cato still here?" "Why is Cato still here? What the hell does that have to do with anything? He's not here now." "I hate him." "For Christ's sake, Nicole, you're the one who asked me to put him up." "I know," she said, "but that was 5 months ago. He was supposed to work for his rent, and he's not working. He's not doing shit for me. I keep asking you to get rid of him, and you're not getting rid of him." "Why are we having this conversation now?" I said. "I've got people downstairs." "We're having this conversation now because I don't want him around anymore. I don't want to see him when I'm here." I felt like saying, "Nobody asked you to come by," but I didn't. The whole thing was crazy. Nicole wasn't making any sense on any level. "I don't like Gigi either," she said suddenly. "Gigi? What has she ever done to you? What is going on with you, Nicole? Are you on something besides antibiotics?" "Why are you still giving me shit about that?" she snapped. "Because I'm worried about you," I said. "Isn't that sweet?" she said, but she had an edge in her voice. Man, I didn't need that shit. I turned around and left the room without another word. To be honest with you, Nicole's behavior was beginning to scare me. The party wound down without incident, and Nicole went home also without incident. But the next day I had Paula over, and we were watching a movie on TV, working on our relationship, taking it slow, when the phone rang. It was Nicole. She was screaming so loud that I had to take the phone into the kitchen. "Why are you trying to steal my friends?" she shouted. "Steal your friends? What the hell are you talking about? You invited them to the fundraiser." Jesus, I couldn't believe it. She was talking about the sports banquet I was hosting to raise money for Cedars-Sinai, for children with birth defects. The previous fall, while Nicole and I were still together, or trying to be together, I had suggested that she ask some of her friends to join us at our table. I had my doubts about these so-called friends, but Nicole had told me repeatedly that I was wrong about them, and I wanted to give her an opportunity to show me I was wrong. She could bring them to the fundraiser, and maybe I'd find out that they were truly the good, decent people she was telling me they were. After Nicole and I split up, though.
The fuck would you even give a fuck about her friends and how decent they are? And what the fuck? Man, this dude was angering himself even more and deepening himself, saddening himself even more. And I mean, this dude was bringing amongst malice amongst himself, bro. You know what I'm saying? Wanting to know about her friends, wanting to, arguing with this bitch, allowing her to call his house and come storming through his house. He got dates and the bitches over chilling and he over there being a simp, watching movies with a bitch, trying to rekindle a relationship that wasn't gonna never go nowhere. If he would have paid attention to the game, the chick, Paula chick, come on, dude. These dudes don't.
Definitively, this time, I'd asked Paula to come with me to the fundraiser. I didn't think she would be all that comfortable around Nicole's friends, though, so I had to disinvite them. Ron Fishman and his son Michael were still welcome, as was Christian Reichardt, but I didn't want to force Paula to deal with the girls, Cora or Faye or any of those people, because I didn't think it would be fair to her, or even to Nicole, frankly. When I called Faye to tell her that the plans had changed and that I didn't think the evening was going to work out, she tried to set me straight. I thought Christian and I were your friends, she said. Well, you are my friends, I said. What the hell was I going to say? And she said, then why can't we come? I tried to explain it to her, suggesting that it might be hard on Paula, and she told me that didn't make any sense at all. OJ, we don't play that game, she said. We don't take sides. We want to be your friends, and we'd love to meet Paula. At that point, what could I do? Fine, I said. You can come. So there I was in the kitchen, with Nicole screaming at me about the fundraiser, demanding an explanation. I didn't invite Faye, I hollered back. Faye invited herself. Liar, she yelled. You're a goddamn liar. My God, this woman was crazy. One day I was an angel, the best thing that ever happened to her, and the next day I was Satan himself. I hung up and called Faye's house. Christian Reichardt answered the phone. I told him what was happening, and he put Faye on the phone, and I explained how Nicole had just gone ballistic over the fundraiser. Come on, OJ, she said. You know what this is about. No, I said. I don't know what this is about. This has nothing to do with the fundraiser. Nicole still loves you, and she's upset because you're already back with Paula. Who cares about that? I snapped.
Damn, it had to take a whole other person, another chick, to come into this dude's life and let him know, well, friend or whoever the chick is, associate, whoever had to let him know how to school him. A chick had to school him. A woman had to school him, fellas. How to school him and let him know, hey man, she's causing all this mayhem and being disruptive and trying to fuck off things because you are with this chick. Paula. Something that he should have known, something that his father should have schooled him with. But at the same time, they said his father was, a part of the rainbow situation. He kind of resented his father growing up, but whatever the case, man. This is a legend. This is what you hear around, fellas. So he may not have that game or that teaching from a male figure, some kind of male guardian in his life at that time, masculine type guardian, that held that kind of weight when it comes to when it comes to the game and schooling him about women. He didn't have that, so he didn't know. You know what I'm saying? So he's thinking that the chick is trying to actually ruin him and everything, which she is, and she's only doing these things because you are not playing her game. You backing away from her, and you're not, you took the attention and all these things away from her. You took all that shit back. You took your power back. And that's why she's here to take everything from you. He don't know these things. But they had to take a woman to school him on this. And he still didn't even get the hint. He still ain't paid attention. Or otherwise, this shit would have never panned out the way it panned out. He would have never went through the trial, lost everything. And, come on, man.
It's over between us. I can be with whoever I want, and so can she. I don't tell her who to go out with, and I don't care. And I wish the hell she'd move on already. Well, that's the problem, Faye said. She can't move on. She loves you. It's easy for you to move on because you don't love her. But she's still crazy about you and can't let go. I didn't want to get into a long philosophical conversation. Faye, I said, I don't have time for this shit. I just need a favor from you. I need you to call Nicole and tell her that you invited yourself to this thing. You just do that one favor for me, okay? And while you're at it, please tell her I don't give a shit who she dates or anything else. I know that wasn't the nicest thing to say, but I didn't really care at that point. I was sick of dealing with Nicole's crap. And I had Paula in the other room, waiting. Well, the rest of the evening went pretty well. And that's all I'm going to say about that. The next day, as I was heading into town in my car, I saw Nicole and Cora jogging through the neighborhood. I didn't stop, but I called Nicole's house, knowing she wouldn't be there to answer the phone, and left a message on her machine. I hope Faye explained all the fundraiser bullshit to you yesterday, I said. If she didn't, you need to talk to her. I purposely did not invite her and Cora because I didn't feel comfortable having them around Paula. That's the truth. Other than that, please do not call me for anything. If it's not about the kids, I don't want to hear from you. That was the truth. It was also definitely true that I didn't want to hear from her. And that right there is the reason we weren't talking at the time of her death. Not because I threatened her, but because I'd had my goddamn fill of her. She was poisoning me with her anger, and I needed to get away from it. The next day, not even 2 weeks before Nicole's death, Cora Fishman called and asked if she could stop by the house. She lived a couple of blocks away, and she came over, and she was crying before she even started talking. What's wrong? I said. You've got to do something about Nicole, she said. You've got to get her away from these people. Hey, don't you think I've tried? Then do it by force if you have to, she said. Run an intervention, but do something. I'm begging you. I'm sick of trying. You don't understand, she said. We had a big fight yesterday after we went jogging. Nicole is one of my best friends. We've never had a fight like that. She just refuses to accept that she's in serious trouble. And in my heart, I know something bad is going to happen. I'll be honest with you. I liked Cora, but I wasn't moved by her tears. Don't tell me, I said. Tell her mother.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep it all the way real, fellas, man. Allegedly, if Nicole was actually going through this and she was doing these things, and you had a chick telling you, hey man, we got to do something about it. She needs some kind of intervention. If all this shit is true, man, there's no motherfucking way. I'm sorry, man. There's no motherfucking way I'm gonna waste my time, energy, nor resources, finances to try to help a motherfucker who ain't gonna help themselves. When they gone, they gone. It is what it is. Only motherfucker that can get them back on track is them. And if they don't want to get back on track, who am I to try to help them, right? I can't do nothing but move forward. And this could have been grounds for OJ to take his children if this was true. And he could have spared the trial of the century. He could have spared going to Vegas and fucking off his life there. He could have spared his Heisman Trophy. He could have spared his finances and business propositions and business investments and that he was indulged in. All these things this man have lost out on simply to help out a motherfucker who didn't give a shit about themselves. Allegedly, if this is true. We got to say that, fellas, because remember, this is his book and this is what he's putting out. So we don't, you know what I'm saying? Nicole's not here to tell her side of the story. He was here to tell his. That's what we got to go off of.
Tell another friend. I'm finished with her. OJ, please. Hey, I snapped. It ain't my problem. That was the end of the conversation. Much later, of course, during the trial and during those many months behind bars, I often thought back to that moment. And I felt pretty guilty about it. But at the time, I was completely done with Nicole, and I was responding as I saw fit. It seemed like no matter how much I tried to do for her, no matter how patient and reasonable I was, my good intentions always came back to bite me in the ass. So I was pretty angry at that point, yeah. I didn't want to see her, I didn't want to hear from her, and I didn't want to deal with any of her shit. I had done the best I could, and it wasn't good enough. And at that point, I wanted to put some miles between us. Cora left the house, unhappy and frustrated, and I didn't talk to her again until after the murders. Much later, I heard that the problems over on Bundy only seemed to get worse by the day. Faye Resnick had an acrimonious falling out with her fiancé and supposedly moved into Nicole's house on or around June 3rd. Then there was some talk about her going into rehab, but apparently she didn't want to go alone, and she kept insisting that Nicole was as messed up as she was. I'm not going unless Nicole goes, she kept hollering, even when they were taking her away. She's in worse shape than me. Like I said, I don't know if this is entirely accurate, but that was the story, and I certainly believed one part of it, the part about Nicole being as messed up as Faye. I believed it because I'd seen it. In a strange way, I was actually kind of hoping that Nicole would hit the wall. I figured she wouldn't even begin to think about acknowledging.
And you said hit the wall. Damn, I guess they was using the word back in those days and shit. I don't know. OJ could have invented that shit. He said hit the wall. He was hoping her ass was to hit the wall, fall, and nigga never come back. Nigga just fall on her luck and not be told. You know how these guys be saying today in today's time, the bitch hit the wall, whatever the case may be. And that's something, ain't it?
Her problems or getting professional help for them until she was completely out of options. A few days later, while I was in New York, I got a call from Gigi, the housekeeper. I had never heard her so upset. Nicole was just here, she said, and she began to cry. She was screaming at me and cursing. What was she doing there? She came to tell me that her mail would be coming to the house and that I should put it aside for her. That's when I found out that she was still trying to con the IRS. She wanted them to think she had taken the money from the sale of her San Francisco condo and used it to buy the Bundy condo, another investment property. Only it wasn't an investment property, it was her home. I called my lawyer steaming. I can't have her coming by the house anymore, I said. She already cost me one housekeeper, and now she's got the new one crying and on the verge of quitting. So tell her, my lawyer said. I don't want to talk to her, I said. Then write her a letter, he suggested. We wrote it together. I told her I was not going to risk having the IRS come after me because she wanted to play fast and loose with the tax laws. I don't want your mail coming to my house, I noted, so please make other arrangements. Do what you've got to do, but don't make me part of it. Much later, during the trial, the prosecution tried to make it sound as if I'd been threatening her, and that this was my way of punishing her for leaving me. I don't know how they got that from the facts, but it seems like most reporters never let the facts get in the way of a good story. I was simply trying to keep her on the straight and narrow. The gist of it was, you're not living here, and you're not going to live here. So you need to take care of this. If the IRS comes, I'm going to tell them the truth. By this point, as you can well imagine, we were pretty much not talking. On June 11th, I took Paula Barbieri to a fundraiser for a pediatric hospital in Israel. That Sharon, the wife of the Israeli prime minister, was hosting it. When it was over, Paula and I went back to my place and made love. I felt I had really fallen for her, and things seemed to be getting better by the day. The following day, June 12th, was the day of Sydney's recital. Sydney was doing a little dance thing at her school with her little classmates, and I was really looking forward to it. Nicole called me late that afternoon to ask me if I was bringing my son, Jason, and to see whether I could get there early to reserve a few seats. I was tied up with stuff, so I told her I probably wouldn't get there till 6 when the recital started. I also told her that I was coming alone. I don't know whether she thought I'd be bringing Paula, but I wanted.
Okay, so this must be where people intertwine the story or try to, put blame on his son Jason, saying that he did something because she asked for Jason to come. Like Jason was infatuated by her. They had some kind of, what I'm saying, what they call entanglement with that new word or whatever. Like he was creeping with his pop's wife and all that shit, and he got mad and because she didn't invite him and to the recital, or she didn't invite him out to eat or to the and I don't know. And he's supposed to, what I'm saying, snapped out of where this is I believe that shit? Hell no. Yeah, but okay, I see where it was. I'm just going on what was said.
Wanted to set her mind at ease, so I volunteered that information. I had decided not to bring Paula out of respect for Nicole and her family, and I'd already talked to Paula about it. Unfortunately, that conversation had not gone well. She wanted to come and didn't see why I had to keep her away from the Browns. I don't know why it's such a big deal, she said. They all know about me. I just think it's better this way, I said. It'll be easier on everyone. Paula didn't agree. She went all cold on me. I knew I was in for a lot of apologizing and a lot of damage control, but what could I do? I thought I was making the right decision. When I got to the recital, I saw Nicole and her parents, Judita and Lou. Nicole was wearing a short skirt that would have looked inappropriate on a 16-year-old. I thought she looked ridiculous, but I didn't say anything. Still, it really made me wonder. What did she see when she looked at herself in the mirror? Was her mind so muddled that she lost her grip on reality? I went over and said hello to everyone, and Nicole pointed at the seat she'd held for me. It was 2 seats away from hers. The seats in the middle were for the kids who would be running around through the evening. Nicole's sister, Denise, was in the row in front of me. She turned around and smiled a big smile and reached over and gave me a kiss. Shortly after the evening got underway, I nodded off in my chair. I don't know if you've ever been to one of these things, but they go on forever. And there were probably 20 numbers before Sydney got her turn on stage. When I woke up, startled, they still hadn't made much progress, and I looked around and noticed that a lot of parents were holding nice bouquets. Damn, I had forgotten the flowers. I leaned over and checked the schedule, and there were at least half a dozen acts before Sydney hit the stage, so I worked my way down the aisle and hurried into the parking lot. I got into my car and drove to Brentwood and picked up some flowers, and I got back in plenty of time. We watched Sydney do her number and clapped louder than everyone else, and then there was a brief intermission. Sydney came over beaming, and I gave her the flowers. She looked absolutely beautiful. When she went over to talk to her grandparents, I looked up and saw Ron Fishman, Cora's husband. We shook hands, and he led me off to one side. "OJ, man, you wouldn't believe what's going on," he said. "With what?" "The women. Everybody's mad at everybody. Nicole's not talking to Cora because Cora's upset about the drug use and about the people she's hanging out with. Faye got kicked out of the house by Christian, drugs again, and ended up at Nicole's. Then they did an intervention without even telling Christian, and for some reason he's pissed off about that. It's a mess. It's all a huge mess." "I heard a rumor Faye was messing up," I said. "I don't know," he said. "All I know is that they took her to rehab kicking and screaming. She wanted Nicole to go with her. She said, if I go, she needs to go because she's drinking and doing coke worse than I am. But Nicole wouldn't go." "I knew this shit was going on," I said. "I tried to do something about it, but Nicole wouldn't even talk about it." "I know," he said. "Cora told me that she tried to talk to you about it, and that you said you were sick of all the bullshit." I felt a little twinge of guilt, but it passed. "What's going on with you and Cora?" I asked. "I'm hearing some stuff." Ron looked pretty crushed for a few moments, but he pulled himself together. "We split up. We've been together for 17 years, and it's over." He didn't tell me what had split them up, and I didn't ask. "Wow," I said. "You're right. It's a huge mess." "Yeah," he said, "and I'm sure we don't know the half of it." As I worked my way back to my seat for the second part of the show, a few people came by to say hello, but I was a little distracted. I didn't like what Ron had said. We don't know the half of it. Because I knew he was right. There was a lot of weird shit happening around Nicole and those girls, and it only seemed to be getting stranger. As I sat down, I saw Nicole looking at me, like she was wondering what Ron and I had been talking about, but I didn't say a word to her. I didn't want to get into it. At some point, we were going to have to face this thing head on, and I was probably going to need her family's help, but this wasn't the time or the place for it. I was upset enough. If I talked to her now, I knew I'd just get angry. I was also very tired. I'd been in about 4 cities in the past week, and I had a late flight to Chicago that night for a get-together with the people at Hertz. I waited for the second half of the show to begin. That's what I was there for, after all. For my kids. I wasn't going to do anything that might ruin things for them. The second half seemed shorter. Maybe I just nodded off again. When it was over, Sydney came running over and we had our picture taken together. Then I ran into Judy, who was all smiles. "Where's Nicole?" she said. "Aren't we going to dinner?" "You guys are going," I said. "I ain't going." Denise came over and gave me a big kiss, and Lou showed up and shook my hand and said hello. "I'm not going to dinner," I told him. "I've got to stay away from your daughter." I said it with a big smile, though, as if I was horsing around, but deep down I meant it. I did not want to be around Nicole.
Okay. Now he said he didn't want to go to dinner, but then tabloids and the news and her friend, Nicole's friends, and the police and all them, everybody on the outs is saying that he wasn't invited, which made him go and get some McDonald's with Kato, and then that's when the other shit began. That's when the tragic shit began.
Much later, during the trial, the whole evening became a huge issue. For starters, the prosecution tried to suggest that I hadn't been invited to dinner.
Like, share, and subscribe. Y'all hit the super chat, hit the membership button, hit the PayPal, hit the Cash App just as well. Go and join the Patreon and go and join me on Rumble.
and that I was upset about it. I didn't need an invitation. It wasn't like that. If I wanted to go to dinner, I would have gone. But I'm the one who didn't want to go. I didn't have the energy to get into anything with Nicole, and I knew we'd get into it if I was there. The last time we talked, prior to our brief conversation earlier in the day, was when she called to scream at me about taking her friends to that fundraiser. Faye had spoken to her the next day to set the record straight, but Nicole had never bothered to apologize to me. If I was pissed off about anything, that was it. I was brought up to acknowledge my mistakes and to do something about them. Nicole had once had the same values as me, but I guess they got lost in the shuffle. So, no, I did not leave the recital upset and angry, as some people would have you believe. And I didn't think the Browns were indebted to me for all the wonderful things I'd done for them over the years, as other people suggested. Though God knows I had done an awful lot of wonderful things for them. And I wasn't in the dark mood attributed to me by several people who were at the recital, including Candace Garvey, wife of baseball Steve Garvey, who got on the stand and told the court that I was simmering and looked spooky. Hell, even Denise testified that I was in a horrible mood. He looked like he wasn't there, she said. He looked like he was in space. All of this would have been very damaging, of course, except that there was a guy from Portland at the reception, and he saw me there, mingling with my family, and secretly shot a little video of me to entertain his friends back home. When the trial eventually got underway, he was back in Portland, watching the proceedings on TV, and he heard all sorts of bullshit testimony about my horrible state of mind. He was a little taken aback, to say the least, so he dug up the tape and sent a copy to Los Angeles, and the defense team later played it for the court. What was I doing on the tape? I was laughing. I was cracking jokes with Lou. I was talking to Denise, who leaned over and kissed me for the second time that night, and I was horsing around with my kids.
Nah, he shot that shot at her sister Denise, talking about she leaned over and kissed him for the second. I remember he did say she kissed him inside the recital when he was coming in the recital or whatever. Now she kissed him again while he was leaving the recital because he shot that shot. I think OJ always screamed in certain interviews. Her sister Denise had a thing for him and shit, and Nicole knew that. That's why she was, she called his phone or no, or let me rephrase that. He called the phone the night from Chicago when he, went to Chicago for the Hearst tournament or whatever. He called that night. Allegedly, he's supposed to call that night, to inform them, let them know, that Nicole been murdered because the police hit him up. And then he said Denise started screaming out, you motherfucking murderer, you butcher, you killed my fucking sister. She always said you was gonna do it. She wrote in her diary you was gonna do it. And she kind of paraded with that behavior that OJ, paraded around that behavior. OJ did that. So I guess he taking a shot at her or whatever. Y'all gotta just know the history of this shit. This shit crazy, man.
I was also doing my best to stay away from Nicole, admittedly. I wasn't going to go anywhere near that woman. I was sick and tired of her shit. If she wanted to take herself down, that was one thing. But I wasn't going to let her take me down with her.
Yeah, that's the end of it right there on that one, fellas. And like I said, man, this is crazy right here. But part 6 is definitely coming up. We're gonna get to part 6 tomorrow. It's gonna be a little longer, but it's actual. The part 6 is really the last part. But then they got part 7. Part 7 is really the last part when they get into the trial and all that. But we're not gonna go that far because y'all can go see that yourself. But that's for public records, and y'all seen countless of videos about the trial. We just getting into details of if he did it and the way he did it. He's going to describe how he did it if he was to do it in part 6. So y'all got to stay tuned for that. Like, share, and subscribe, y'all. Once again, hit the super chat, hit the membership, hit the PayPal, hit the Patreon, hit the Cash App. And much love for everybody for coming up in here, for showing me love. Everybody skid by, you know what I'm saying? And I didn't get nobody in the chat every day, but that's cool. You know how I do it. I keep coming through with the game. Ain't no problem, man. But we can stay tuned for part 6. And I salute. Until next time, holla.